The Teen Titans, or Titans, are probably my favourite superhero team, at least in DC because I sometimes go back and forth with them and the X-Men. But to be honest, I haven't read a whole lot of their books, and from what I've been hearing, they have not had a great comic run since the Jeff Johns run, with most of them either being boring or straight up bad, and as somebody who's read some of those runs, those accusations are correct. However, when I saw that the team would finally be getting a new lineup and was going to be written by Batgirl writer Tate Bromble, I had a feeling of hope twinkle in my eye. But hope can only take a book so far, so with all the issues of the latest 2 arcs getting wrapped up, let's see if it stuck the landing. Oh yeah, this is going to be 2 reviews in one video, mainly because they both tie into each other pretty closely. The first storyline is The Future is Tomorrow, written by Tate Bromble, art by Sam Basri, Jordi Tarragona and Vincent Cifuentes, colours by Adriana Lucas, letters by Tom Napolitano, and edited by Marquise Draper and Brittany Holzer. The Titans are drinking coffee and hanging out until some random villain or team of villains crashes the party that they take care of relatively quickly, which is something that will repeat throughout each and every day. Scenes seem fine enough at first, but what you'll notice is that throughout each day, the Titans are always going through the same shit, just on a different day, like Cyborg questioning if he's man or machine, and Terra betraying the Titans again. Not just that, but also characters change costumes randomly, like Red Beast Boy and New 52 Nightwing. So, something is definitely up, even if the team doesn't notice it straight away. That is until Nightwing hears strange calls coming from the coffee machine, telling him not to drink the coffee. Seems weird for a coffee machine to say. While he ignores the warning at first, as each day goes along, he starts taking more notice of the repetition around him, and avoids drinking the coffee altogether. This then gets to a boiling point for Dick, where he finally destroys the coffee machine, everything starts to come apart, and new heroes burst in to set them free, dubbing themselves the New Titans. While this seems like something nice, the old Titans are completely confused on what's going on, and now with 4 members down, the rest aside from Nightwing fight the New Titans, only to be interrupted by Cyborg, who now has no cybernetic equipment attached to him, all thanks to the alpha energy he was infused with during the DCKO tournament, splitting both his human and cyborg side into 2 different entities. Which of course means that the cyborg the other Titans were with was Robot Cyborg in disguise, who made this whole reality to protect them. Yeah, that's a very interesting plot twist if I've ever read one, and I like that it shows that the Robot Cyborg does have good intentions with the fake reality, but he's going about it the wrong way. It's an interesting plot idea to follow. Now with all of those explanations out of the way, the Titans fight with Robot Cyborg only for him to adapt to all of their moves and take them all down in seconds, until a brand new face appears, that being the last member of the New Titans, a cute robot girl named Ava, who helped Victor escape from Robot Cyborg and brought the New Titans together. Now the Titans face Robot Cyborg, who is looking to make the dream reality take over the entire world. In order to stop that, Ava links Victor's mind to Robot Cyborg's, while the rest of the crew takes on the projections of all their villains. When Victor goes into Robot Cyborg's mind, he finds the android has taken on the form of his younger self playing video games, which symbolizes how he acts as someone who wants to stay in the past. Victor tries reasoning with him to let him know that he understands why he's doing this, but his friends won't truly be living. While that's going on, we find out why he went with a completely new team, mainly because Robot Cyborg would have noticed anyone else, and would have known what to do with them. Luckily, Victor picked the right people, because they all help out with a combination of Superman's solar flares and Red Devil's nether magic that help dampen Robot Cyborg's defenses. Once Robot Cyborg is down, Ava arrives to let Victor know that she has found the source of the corruption, and that all they need to do to fix it is to get both cyborgs to merge back into one. Now, Cyborg is finally back to being his full self, and everything can mostly go back to normal, as the Teen Titans celebrate their victory. Although there's definitely more mysteries underneath Titan's Tower, as Cyborg and Ava seem to be working on something that the Titans don't know about. So, I'd definitely say that I liked this arc, even if it was a bit short. It felt like a response to where the Titans have been for the last couple of years, with the same storylines being done over and over again, but once the new Titans crash in, life already starts feeling a lot more interesting. I don't know if that was an intentional nod to the audience, but it was definitely something I thought about while reading. Which brings me to the new team, including John Kent Superman, Stephanie Brown Batgirl, Yara Flor Wonder Girl, Red Devil, and Ava. Not exactly the team I would put together, but I think this is a very good lineup, as most of the characters are not very well known, and one is a completely new creation for this book. I think they all work pretty well off of each other, but since they all just got together, they have some learning to do throughout. We don't see them have a lot of character development, but I can honestly forgive it since this is an arc that highlights nostalgia and characters needing to move on, so I don't mind Bromble focusing more on the old team here. I will say that I do wish we got to see how Cyborg and Ava brought them all together in a flashback to see how they would all react to having to save a group of heroes as big as the Titans. That's a pretty big task, and it would have been cool to see if they had any issues about pulling it off or having disagreements with one another. All of that would have made the team feel more like real people, but unfortunately we don't get that, which makes them feel like an afterthought. Another thing I noticed is that after everything with Robot Cyborg taken care of, we don't see the rest of the Titans or how they feel about their friends making it out. We get a passing mention that Ava got Roy, Donna, Garfield, and Rachel out, but they're all pretty much non-existent afterwards. They just experienced the same shit that Dick, Corey, Victor, and Taro did, and they don't want to make sure their friends are okay? That's weird. Even with all my gripes, I think this first mini-arc of the New Titans run is off to a pretty good, if flawed, start. But home is where the heart of the apocalypse is where the series starts getting good. Most of the same creative team aside from Marcus Toe, who takes over for Sam Basri on art, are here, and I have a lot more to say. This arc is more of a slow burn, involving the new Titans settling into the new headquarters, which is the secret sanctuary that they were all in during the last arc. Which, of course, means that the characters have more time to get fleshed out, and I feel Bromble does a great job with all of them, old and new. Not everyone's a big player, but I feel the crumbs given do a great job of setting them up. Stephanie Brown is stepping up to be the new leader and is willing to go through over 7 hours of training to be the best she can be, which is interesting because she's usually the happy Batgirl who's more interested in having fun. But with such a huge role being given to her, it makes sense she'd want to work her ass off to make such a huge impression. I mean, who wouldn't feel that way in this situation? Yara is more carefree and rude than the rest, focusing more on chilling out by herself and her free time, as she straight up ignores Ava who wants to play pickleball with her. She will definitely hang out with the rest of the team, but not without talking some shit to them. I don't read a lot of Wonder Woman outside of the Absolute version, so this is my first impression of her, but I think she's fine enough. I feel the same with John, who has a lot on his plate, working as both another Superman and Tomorrow Man back in Superman Unlimited, which is something that really wears on him. But he is still willing to reach out to people when they need him, like when Ava wants someone to play pickleball with, and when he tries comforting Red Devil, when he's just experienced a very heavy situation. I really like that about him. I think he'll be a great addition. Speaking of Red Devil, he is the MVP of this arc. You get to see a lot more of his backstory, with being abandoned by his parents at a young age, becoming Blue Devil's sidekick, and being a returning member from a different Titans team. He has a lot of anger in him, which isn't helped when he and the team encounter the demon who turned him into Red Devil, Nibiros, who is now the mayor of Happy Harbor and using the people to sacrifice a newborn baby per quarter, just so they can all live in peace. Yeah, this individual is quite evil. Luckily, Red Devil takes care of Nibiros quite quickly as he sends him into the Sixth Circle with his magic. However, he's still unhappy because he got to see that the people of his new home were more than willing to sacrifice a newborn just so their lives could be better, and as he leaves, he lets them know that they're all going to have to live with that. Red Devil is not just some angry loner though. He does have a lot of fun here and there, especially with John Kent, who he likes to pull pranks on and banter with. That stuff is really funny, especially since their personalities could not be more different, since John is very nice and socially awkward, and Devil constantly uses that against him. But my favourite new Titan so far is definitely Ava, as she has a lot of great moments. There's a lot of mystery around her since she doesn't know a lot about herself or how she was created, and wants to get along with her new friends by playing pickleball with them, only to be met with unfortunate results all around. That is aside from John, who does want to play with her until the rest of the team bring them along for some time on the town. Ava quickly gets separated from the group when she sees a grocery store, but when she reaches the counter, she quickly learns that she has to pay money to get what she wants from stores, which is super funny. She does eventually join the fight with Nibiros, grabbing the sacrificed baby and telling him he's not the father, only to then control the water to keep him still. Aquaman might have some competition here. As icing on the cake, once the group returns to base, we find out that she brought a jar of pickles for pickleball, which makes everyone, even Terra, laugh. So if you couldn't tell, Ava is clearly autistic coded, with her not fully understanding social cues or concepts, and taking certain words a bit too literally. But despite all of that, she's very useful on the field. She's already made a huge impression on me. Starfire, after experiencing the stuff with Robot Cyborg, has come to realize that while she loved her time with the Titans, she wants to break away from them so she can learn to be her own person. Which is very interesting because I've heard that this might be set up for our own possible solo series, which would be really cool, and I think this was a good setup for it. After she tells this to Dick, he starts having his own thoughts of leaving the Titans himself, as he says on call with Barbara, who is currently in prison. While the story doesn't write him out just yet, I think this can be a very interesting development for him going forward, and I like how this internal conflict ties in with the current arc he's going through in his own book. Then we get to Terra, who has just joined the Titans through the JLU amnesty program, and already she's looking to ditch the team with stolen chocolate muffins in tow, only for her to feel the ground beneath her and stumble onto Cyborg working with the Apocalypse Heart and a demon dragon that breaks out of the mountain and becomes an extra boss for the rest of the team to fight. While that's happening, Victor asks Terra to keep the whole project under wraps for the moment. While apprehensive, Terra decides to play along for now and help him with the Apocalypse technology in any way she can. I like this because it shows that Terra is going through some development, which I would like to see more of. But my favourite part is definitely when Terra uses her powers to recreate the sanctuary all by herself. That is really cool. I don't have a lot to say on Cyborg since he doesn't have as much to do, aside from his work on the Heart of Apocalypse and helping Ava figure out who she is. It's definitely cool, but not much for me to dissect at the moment. So New Titans is definitely off to a really good start. I like a lot of the developments with each of the characters, old and new, and the story is definitely going in an interesting direction. The Future is Tomorrow did leave a good amount to be decided, but once you get into Home is Where the Heart of Apocalypse is, it picks up in quality immediately. So if you're looking to get into the Titans, this is a good place to start. However, I feel I'm missing something. Like, something really important, but I can't quite put my finger on. Oh yeah, Static is coming to the team. Yes, I mean Milestone's biggest character, Static, is going to be part of the Teen Titans. Again. And to hype us all up, the team decided to make a short story with him, and I like it. Virgil's girlfriend wants to break up with him since he's been really distant with her as of late due to events happening in the DCKO and Dakota Incident events. Virgil does feel a bit upset, but things start looking better as John comes to ask him to join the Titans. I'm not sure how he knew where Virgil lives. That's weird. That aside, I think this does a very good job introducing Static to new readers in such a short amount of time, so that his introduction in the next issue isn't forced. Not that it would have mattered to me or anything, but it's still cool that Bromble took the time to write this. Before anyone asks, yes, I am excited for his new ongoing by Cody Ziegler. Sorry for that little detour, it was part of the book, so I felt wrong not including it, and I just really like Static. That's the end of the video, and I really liked making it, so I'm hoping I can keep talking about Titans comics and just other comic books in general. If that interests you, I highly recommend subscribing, hitting the notification button, and sharing this video around. I also have accounts on Instagram, Threads, and Comic Geeks if you want to follow me elsewhere, and I even have a Discord server where you can chat with me and other like-minded people. Anyway, I'm Jedi-Liam 64, and I think I've taken up enough of your time. So I'll see you all later.